Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara. Welcome to all of you here in our physical sanctuary and welcome to those of you joining us online in our Zoom sanctuary. We are one community under this beautiful blue sky here this weekend in Santa Barbara, and thank goodness for that. And thank you to all of the folks on our worship arts team who helped reschedule this service from last Sunday when we were all staying home and safe during the big rainstorm, and have now returned for what is going to be, I think, a remarkable service from some remarkable people. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Whoever you are, whoever you have been, whoever you are becoming, whoever you love, whatever team you are rooting for this afternoon, you are welcome here among us. You are welcome into this loving community of seekers where we strive to live with integrity, nurture wonder, and inspire the actions that transform us and transform the world. I'm the Reverend Julia Hamilton, and I'm delighted to have you here with us this morning with a whole host of marvelous musicians and speakers and travelers who are going to share with you about our recent trip to the La Cobina shelter in Mexicali. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any newcomers and visitors we have here with us this morning. If you're joining us online, there's a link to our connection card so we can keep in touch with you. If you're here in person, there's a yellow card in your order of service, and you can drop that in the offertory plate or stop by our welcome table after the service to join us for some coffee and conversation. We would love to get to know you better. And on the second Sunday of every month, which is this Sunday, there is a newcomer orientation in the front office, so you can stop by and meet Angie and maybe a couple of other new folks, ask questions, and find a little bit more about what we are up to here at the Unitarian Society, because as I so often say, we are always up to something. Beyond Sunday morning even, we have a lot going on in this congregation. This Wednesday, we have our Contemporary Issues Forum. We're going to be talking about the important issue of white Christian nationalism, what we can do about it, learning a little bit more about how it works in this country, and how we as people of a progressive and liberal religious faith can work to hold up our values in the public square. Please join us for that at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and I believe that's February 14th. So what a better way to say I love you than to work to build beloved community together, right? We do have some other things coming up this season, so I recommend you take a look at that insert in your order of service or your Friday email. We have a wonderful new adult religious exploration class that Charlotte is going to be offering starting at the end of this month. We, of course, have our Justice Choir with Gwendolyn, who's going to be singing with us today. So if you have any questions about the Justice Choir, this is a great opportunity to connect with Gwendolyn after the service, and there'll be a practice this Monday evening, tomorrow night. I invite you all now to take a breath, to settle yourself, to arrive into this place, into this community with your full body and breath, as we ring our bell and let the sound connect us.
I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do.
Let us now sing together. If you would like to rise in body and spirit, we're going to be singing in the teal hymnal this morning. We're going to be singing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, number 1008 in the teal hymnal.
our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear the voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
So once a month at the beginning of our service, we're going to take a moment to connect with each other and say hello. So I'm going to invite you in just a moment to rise and say hello to somebody you don't know or maybe haven't seen in a while. And then I'm going to ring a bell after a few minutes to call you all back to your places. If you're joining online and you want to say hello in the chat or turn it on gallery view so you can see each other's faces. And last time I had a really hard time getting you back. So it's going to be, you're going to have to listen to that bell. This is just the seeds of conversation that can continue after the service. So I invite you now to rise and greet one another. Good job. Good job. You're getting better at this, folks.
All right. Everyone back to their seats, except the children. This is the time in the service when we invite children to come forward. we've got a great song to teach you, so we hope you'll all come on up forward. I see some kids back there. Don't be afraid. It's going to be great. Follow Dylan. Come on, Dylan, leading the way. Wonderful. Come on up. Have a seat on the rug. This is all going to be good. Great job. Thank you all. So last month, I don't know if you guys can see me here. We need this. I'm going to just move over here for a minute. Last month, a bunch of us, all of us up here, along with a couple of other folks, spent a day in a migrant shelter in Mexico, in Mexicali, Mexico. And that's where, oh, we have to watch the video. And we have a video to show you from that day.
Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. 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 Abre la puerta.
So come on back over to the rug. That's where that video is from. It's from this migrant shelter in Mexicali, Mexico. The people who are living in that shelter are hoping to move to the United States. They want to start a new and better life for their families, but they're living in the shelter while they wait. So we all really enjoyed making art with the kids that day and playing games with them. There was even a piñata. And at the end of the day, all the kids and all the adults gathered together, and Ruby, this is Ruby, she's from Trinity Episcopal Church around the corner. Ruby taught everyone the beautiful song that you heard in the video. It's called Abre la Puerta, which means open the door. And Ruby's going to teach us that song right now, and you all are going to sing along.
Charlie's going to play guitar because she's better at it than I am. So we're going to teach you the first two parts of this song. The first one you heard in the video. And it only has one line, so it's kind of easy. It goes, Abre la Puerta, and it means open the door, like Charlotte said. So we're just going to sing that part, and we'll sing it a couple times, and you can join in with us when you're ready. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Sweet. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Sweet. Amazing. You guys got that super fast. That was sweet. Thanks for joining us. And then there's the second part, which you didn't hear in the video. And that one has 4 lines, and it's a little bit more complicated. And the 4 lines are que entre la vida, which means so that life can come in. The second is que entre el sol, so that the sun can come in. Que entre la tierra, so that the earth can come in. And then en el corazón, into the heart, so that the life can come in, the sun and the earth, and they can all come into the heart. That's what we're opening the door to. So we'll sing that a couple more times. Que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón, que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la la tierra, en el corazón.
All together?
Okay, yeah, sure. So now we're gonna put those two parts together. We'll sing the Abre la Puerta, and I'll give a little clue so we know when to change to the other one. And then that'll be it. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Abre la Puerta. Abre la puerta, 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 abre la puerta. Now que entre la vida, que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón, que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón. Back to Abre la Puerta one time. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And that's our time for all ages today. Kids are going to go out to their classes with Janie, and she's got some more pictures from our trip to share with you as well.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Wasn't that a great song? And didn't Ruby do such a good job teaching it to all of us? The song is written by Glenn Phillips, by the way. On Friday afternoon, January 12th, we met in the La Paz parking lot here at the Unitarian Society. Adam Shive, Kier Zecker, Christina Boardman, Cassia Shive Hamilton, Quinn Hartman, Leland Reardon, and me from USSB, and Oliver and Ruby Bargiel from Trinity Episcopal Church, our neighbors around the corner. Our fellow travelers, Hillary Peaty and Jeanette Love from the Catholic Church of the Beatitudes, had left earlier in the day. We loaded the Hartman's minivan with 6 youth, a bunch of snacks, and Adam, brave soul that he is. Kier, Christina, and I packed luggage and 3 large suitcases full of art supplies, books, and games into Kier's Land Rover. We said goodbye to parents and headed south to Calexico, where we would spend the night at the Holiday Inn Express. The next morning, we met Sister Suzanne Jabro, the heart and soul of the Border Compassion Organization and our guide. We gathered for breakfast in the hotel dining room, joined by Hillary and Jeanette, and Sister Suzanne gave us the update on life at La Cobina Posada migrant shelter. Last year, when we went, there were over 300 migrants living in the shelter. Some had been there over a year. This year, there were just over 80 living in the 2 shelters overseen by Border Compassion. Wait times for appointments with Border Patrol had shortened, and now people could cross from Mexicali instead of having to travel to Tijuana. After the update and instructions for the day, we divided into 3 groups to take cabs to the Calexico-Mexicali border. From there, we walked across the border. Our big suitcases full of art supplies and games were opened and inspected by border agents. And when we got across the border, we took 3 more cabs in Mexicali to the bright pink building that is La Cobina Posada del Migrante. For the next several hours, we would give our time, attention, and art supplies to children and adults to draw and paint, make beaded bracelets, and create God's eyes with yarn and popsicle sticks. We would play games and share a beautiful song. Hillary and Jeanette would hear heartbreaking stories from the adults and teach them capacitar self-care practices, which you will get to experience a little bit later in the service. There would be a piñata and tres leches cake, and there would be smiles and sadness and beauty and heartbreak all at once. We would all be changed by the experience.
This is a poem by Rebecca Parker called In the Midst of a World. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction and who, with faith, rise and lead in freedom with grace and power.
There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage or tenderness and wonder.
There must be those whose grief troubles the water, while their voices sing and speak refreshed worlds.
There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joys.
There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear.
There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor.
And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God.
Who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness.
Good morning. My name is Oliver Bargiel. Me and my sister are here from Trinity Episcopal Church, and I'm going to be reading a reflection written by Emma Parent on her behalf, as she couldn't join us this morning. Hello, my name is Emma Parent, and I'm very sorry to not be with you all today. My experience in Mexicali was one that I reflect on quite a bit, therefore I felt compelled to share it with you. With this having been my second time at the shelter, I've gotten to see the place at its fullest capacity and with only 80 people staying there. Both are wonderful experiences, but I much preferred the chance to speak with these people in depth. With only 80 people, I could listen to stories and learn from them. I could play with kids for longer, do more cooking, and learn new skills like making God's eyes. One of the highlights of this visit for me was watching the kids play with the resident kittens that live in the shelter. Together, we learned how to be gentle with animals and how to hold them properly. Seeing kids' faces when they held the kittens was rewarding enough, not to mention I got to learn about the kids themselves. One boy was dressed in a blue patterned dress shirt with a bow tie and suspenders. When I complimented them, he smiled widely and told me they were new. Earlier in the day, we set up crafts in a white canvas tent for both kids and adults to play with. Giving the adults a space to enjoy themselves without worry and without kids' needs was so therapeutic to watch. They all seemed genuinely happy, especially when Oliver taught them how to make bracelets and lanyards. Visiting Mexicali always renews my faith in people. Watching Sister Suzanne make the journey on a regular basis, seeing the residents give and give even when we're supposed to be the ones helping them, and feeling them welcome us into their home with open arms, It all makes you so incredibly grateful for the experience, especially the second time around. I am also extremely grateful to Christina, Charla, Sister Suzanne, Adam, and Kier for their patience and understanding, as well as serving as mentors during the trip. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to help people.
Good morning. Hi. My name is Ruby. I am Oliver's sister. And I'm here as another representative of the Trinity Episcopal Youth Group down that way, I think. And I'm here to talk about some of my experiences and reflections from our trip to Mexicali just barely a month ago. It feels like it was much longer, but it was only a month ago. One of my biggest takeaways from this whole experience was how short-lived this space of the shelter is, but at the same time, how majorly influential. After a few minutes of interacting with the people at the shelter, I have to admit, I was almost shocked by their humanness. It sounds kind of strange, but stories that I had heard from other people had painted this picture of these people in my mind as helpless, withdrawn, solitary, but also dependent on people like us to pull them out of their darkness. When I first stepped into the shelter, that made a little bit of sense. People seemed to carry weariness and heaviness with them. But after a short time, I couldn't have been proven more wrong. Although it looked a little different from what I was used to, there was a sense of love, companionship, family, and curiosity in the air that struck me as innately human. The kids were like any other set of kids, running up, speaking to me, which I could only try to reciprocate in my broken Spanish. They were excited by the colors, the paints and beads, and especially the rainbow parachute. The adults were the same. A group of men shuffling out playing cards looked perfectly at home. Women were walking around with God's eye crafts in their hands like it was their nature. And everywhere you looked, people laughed and spoke together just like my friends and family do. This all reminded me that these people are made of the same building blocks as you and I are, that they crave the same quality of connection, that they existed as human beings before coming to the shelter. They are now, and they will continue to live complex lives wherever life takes them next. With that being said, there is still impact, major impact, and I may never be able to understand or describe it to you. This year, we put up signs for places on the wall to display artwork made by people at the shelter. Kids and adults alike jumped at the opportunity to both make art and put it up on the wall. I was admiring some of this artwork when something caught my eye. Across many of the pieces,
They were signed with a name, followed by the word refugio, refugee. The small detail shocked me, that people, young and old, have adopted that word this time into their identity. It was a reminder that at the end of the day, I got to cross back into the US largely unquestioned. I got to drive back to sunny Santa Barbara and lie in my bed at night, feeling perfectly safe and at home, knowing exactly what I was going to wake up to the next day. These people, young and old, smiling and sad, remembering and forgetting, will carry this time with them, this time of searching, hoping that it all works out. So let us not forget that these people that we talk about helping and saving are just as capable as we are of doing that themselves. Our work comes in when we ask them what they need, and we listen with open minds, giving hands and giving hearts. These people are just as much people as we are, and they know themselves better than we will ever know them. They are loving, kind, grateful, and creative. They are woven into a family that we may never understand. And they are 1,000 times over worth our time, attention, love, and art supplies. So please, let us not forget how to love that which we may never understand.
Hi. Let's see. Yeah, I'm Cassia Shive Hamilton. I'm the daughter of Julia, the minister, and I'm going to share my reflection. What do you think about when someone says immigrant? It might be the border, the shelter, a family, or just numbers. But within the numbers are people. People with faces and emotion, people who feel love just as much as we do. They're people. When I went with the youth group to Mexicali this year, it felt very similar as to when I went last year. And it was. We stayed at the same hotel, went to the same Applebee's. It was still bad. And really, the only difference were the occupants of the shelter. But that's what made it special. When I got to the shelter, we were welcomed with smiles. Granted, my group was a little late because our taxi driver got lost trying to find the shelter, so most people were already inside of a large tent doing some sort of art. It was surreal how similar it was to last year, even if it was only 80 people as opposed to 300. Sometime later, after everyone had stopped doing art, while I was holding a kitten we had found, this little girl came up to me and tapped on my leg and gestured that she wanted to hold the kitten. So I gave it to her, and she held it like a baby and beamed, then thanked me and walked away. After that interaction, if she saw me, she would say hi. Occasionally, she would come over to me with the cat and want me to pet it. Later in the day, when everyone was gathered around watching kids smash a piñata, I was sitting in a chair, and this elderly woman came and sat next to me. I looked over, and we smiled at each other and had as much of a conversation as we could, with me not knowing any Spanish. After a bit, she wanted to take a picture with me and everyone else when we were leaving. Both of these interactions are very special to me and continue to be. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, going to the shelter in Mexicali can seem less than fun. And yes, the stage these people are in their lives is not a moment anyone wants to be in. But going to that shelter is something I won't ever forget and holds a lot of dear memories that I love. And if you don't take anything out of this, the least you can do is remember that they're still there.
I think you can see how lucky we were to travel with these youth, right? it is time for our offering. And as we do every month, we give a portion of our offering to support, well, in this case, us in our upcoming Hunt for Justice for our Easter Sunday. And Hunt for Justice is when the kids, our younger kids, get to have a say in what sort of causes they support. We hide all that money, you'll get the idea. They vote with their eggs, and all the money is distributed to the causes that they care about. So if you can now join me in our words of affirmation and giving. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their privilege. And let us be grateful even for those, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
My husband Jeff is helping me out on guitar this morning. I'm Gwendolyn. It's good to be with you. We all need more kindness in this world. We all need more kindness in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more kindness in this world. We all need more hugging in this world. We all need more hugging in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more hugging in this world. We all need more laughing in this world. We all need more laughing in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more laughing in this world. I see some of you singing along out there. You are very welcome to. In this next verse, we're gonna sing sunshine. So there's only one word that changes on each verse. So we all need more sunshine. Join me if you'd like. We all need more sunshine in this world. We all need more sunshine in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more sunshine in this world. Peacetime. We all need more peacetime in this world. We all need more peacetime in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more peacetime in this world. Friendship. We all need more friendship in this world. We all need more friendship in this world. You may look high and low, but there's no place else to go. We all need more friendship in this world. Once more, we all need more friendship in this world. We all need more friendship in this world. Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kier Zecker. I'm a fellow traveler on this trip to the La Cabina shelter, and I wrote a short poem about my experience that day. It's called Abre la Puerta. I want to open the door for you, break through a damaged worldview with some fantastical freedom voodoo, but that's not what we're here to do. Inside, the metal gates behind us clink, bright walls of pink, stories of anguish beyond what I can think, dreams on the brink. And you wait for papers, for visas, for fate, a liminal space with an uncertain end date. I remember there is another door to open. Our heart is a passageway, a kindness fairway, an entree to play, smile, listen for a while, pass out the colors to fill in a mandala, wave the parachute high. How do you make a God's eye? Watch me make this frisbee fly. Little ones squeal, others step off the worry wheel and catch a balloon. Change will come soon. A hearty lunch is shared. For a minute, we've forgotten we were scared. A circle game, what's your name? We stand face to face in this colorful transient space. We try to say I love you with just the eye. The door is open wide. In that moment, there is grace. Gracias, he says.
This interfaith trip to La Cabina is the third our congregation has been a part of. Through this work, we have collaborated and deepened relationships with Trinity Episcopal Church and the Catholic Church of the Beatitudes, our fellow travelers. Sister Suzanne Jabro, the chief inviter and crossover guide, that's her official title, of the all-volunteer Border Compassion Organization, is the engine that propels us on these journeys to Mexicali. Together, we are creating an interfaith force for love and compassion and strengthening our voices for immigration justice. USSB members Deb Karoff, Anna DiStefano, John Altman, and Linda Beers went on the first trip to La Cabina in 2022. We didn't send any youth that year, but the youth groups from the Unitarian Society and Trinity Episcopal collaborated to raise funds and create art supply kits for each of the children at La Cabina, along with bilingual children's books. Deb, Anna, John, and Linda dragged heavy suitcases across the border to deliver these gifts. On that first trip, Sister Suzanne introduced our travelers to a young couple named Luz and Christina and their then 3-year-old daughter, Sophia. They had been living at the shelter for about a year at the time. Thanks to John's fluency in Spanish and Deb and Anna's can-do spirit, the seeds of a relationship with this young family were planted that continues to grow to this day. Last year, we decided it was time to bring the youth. Emma, Quinn, and Cassia were part of that first group, along with Sam Giboux from the Unitarian Society and 2 other youth and a parent from Trinity Episcopal. Julia, Christina Boardman, and I went too. When we met Sister Suzanne, we were immediately swept up into her energy and compassion for the residents of La Cabina. There were over 300 at the time, living 3 families to a hotel room. Our first day was a blur of art activities and games, children's eager faces, exhausted parents, heartbreaking stories, and devastating need, all held with love and compassion by those running the shelter. It was a lot to process, but we knew we would go back. And so we returned this year. As you heard from our youth, we were again swept up in the experience, both the beauty and the heartbreak of it, and we were again changed by it. So why do we go? A day or two of art projects, games, and capacitar practices are not going to make a mark, let alone a dent, in the political issues surrounding immigration between Mexico and the United States. So why do we keep going back? Because there must be religious witness. When we spend a day at La Cobina, we are showing the families living there that we see them as fully human, as our youth said, and we care about what happens to them. When we hear stories about immigrants in the news, we now have names and faces to go with those stories, and we have stories of our own that so often contradict what we hear in the news about immigrants. There must be religious witness. We bring our stories back from these trips and share them like we're doing now. Stories have the capacity to ripple out into the world, shining a light on that which needs love and attention. It is our duty to share what we have seen and know to be true in our hearts. There must be religious witness. We are changed by bearing witness. Personally, I pay much closer attention to immigration news than I ever have because now I know people who are directly impacted. We cannot help but be changed by meeting people who are living through trauma with no idea of what tomorrow may bring for their family. We are compelled to do the something we can do, as our chalice lighting words instructed us this morning. Sure, but immigration is just one of many problems our world is struggling with. Shouldn't we move on and witness something else? In her book, Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds, author Adrienne Marie Brown lays out the principles of emergent strategy as a way of creating change. Here are a few that particularly resonated with me about why it's important to keep returning to the same places. Small is good, small is all. The large is a reflection of the small. Move at the speed of trust. Focus on critical connections more than critical mass. Build the resilience by building the relationships. Less prep, more presence. And what you pay attention to grows. The power of building relationships. Over these past 3 years, we have built and continue to strengthen critical connections with Sister Suzanne Jabro and Border Compassion, Trinity Episcopal Church, and the Church of the Beatitudes. These partners and other faith communities and collaborators, including SB ACT and the Interfaith Sanctuary Alliance, have raised thousands of dollars for La Cobina. You have contributed to these funds through our offertory and youth group fundraisers. Sister Suzanne asks each group that visits La Cobina to raise a minimum of $2,000 for food and necessities for shelter residents. For this year's trip, our interfaith donation was about $4,000 that we brought to Sister Suzanne. Sister Suzanne, and I wish you all could meet her, is the eyes and ears of La Cobina, and through our ongoing relationship with her, we are able to respond to needs at the shelter. Through more interfaith fundraising, La Cobina now has a teacher who comes to the shelter several days a week to teach the children English. Prior to this, they had no educational opportunities at all while they were in the shelter. Less prep, more presence. When Anna, Deb, John, and Linda met Luz and Christina and their young daughter Sophia, they had no idea what would emerge. They just listened that day, hearing the harrowing story that led this young family to the shelter. As a lesbian couple, they were part of a marginalized group in Mexico, but that was only a piece of their story. When Luz and Christina legally crossed the border about a month later and moved to Stockton, the relationship between our USSB travelers and this young family deepened. Joan Ariel, Ellen Brody, and others from our Justice and Equity team have joined in support of this family. No one knew what this support would look like at first, but everyone stayed present until a plan emerged. Now, this team raises money to help pay Luz and Christina's rent until they can get work permits, a long and complicated process. And we've connected them with immigration attorneys and sought advice from our local Immigration Legal Defense Center. A partnership with the Unitarian Church of Stockton was formed to help deliver funds to Luz and Christina before they could open a bank account, and we are grateful for that partnership. Deb, Anna, Joan, John, and Ellen had planned to accompany Luz, Christina, and Sophia to their first asylum hearing in San Francisco later this month. But they just learned this week that that date has been pushed back to February of 2025. Such is the uncertainty and anxiety that asylum seekers live with every day. Luz, Christina, and Sophia are family now. When they visit Santa Barbara, they stay with Deb and Anna, go to the park with Ellen and Joan, and rely on John's patient translation to ease any communication challenges, though Google Translate has been a godsend. Whenever they are able, they come to Sunday services here. Their experience of UUs through their relationship with us and the UU Church of Stockton is one of care, respect, and compassion. This is what can emerge when you bear witness. This is what can blossom when you move at the speed of trust. And what we give our attention to grows. So why do we keep going back to La Cabina Posada del Migrante? Because we cannot do everything, but we can do this. Because small is good, and kindness and compassion ripple outward. Because critical connections and deep relationships take time and loving care. This reflection is about La Cabina, but the same things could be said about our service trips to the Hopi Reservation and about all the community relationships USSB nurtures: SB TAN, PFLAG, warming centers, showers of blessings, and more. I want to return to the words of from Rebecca Parker from the reading earlier. There must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness. May we continue to do the something we can do. May we continue to bear witness and be changed. Thank you.
In just a moment, you're going to have an opportunity to experience some of the capacitar work that our travelers shared with the people in the shelter. But I want to just say a couple of things. First, about religious witness. When I heard that word, there must be religious witness, I was reminded that the word religion means to bind together. So to bear religious witness means to bear witness to that which binds us together. That interdependence that is at the core of part of our Unitarian Universalist faith when we bear religious witness. Now, I gave my first sermon on immigration justice probably in about 2010, 14 years ago. I can't tell you how many times I have preached on this issue or engaged this issue over the course of my ministry, and 14 years later, we find ourselves still spinning our wheels in the same sand, it feels like sometimes. The immigration system in the United States is broken. I've said this a lot, but it's not broken because there are too many people who want to make their home here in this country. It's not broken because there are children waiting to get legal citizenship. It's not broken because of people like Christina and Luz who are seeking asylum from situations that would make any sane person flee for their safety. That's not the reason why our immigration system is broken. It's broken because it's meant to be broken. It's broken because it is intentionally awful. Our system is in a shambles because it serves the interests of people for it to be in a shambles. It serves the interests of people who want to make this issue a political wedge issue in an immigration year. It serves the interest of people who want to stoke fear and nationalism, who want to throw up walls and pit us against each other. It serves the interests of people who want to make this situation terrible and then tell you that they are the only people that can fix it. So when we bear witness to these stories, we're not just talking about personal transformation. We're talking about the way human beings who are living in great distress are treated like political footballs, and the way the media treats this issue as if everyone is just trying to score points. And the headlines are all about which party wins or loses in any given poll. And I couldn't leave this morning without saying something about how the fact that we need to leave the football to the game this afternoon and stop playing games with people's very existences. When we visit La Cobina, we are refusing to play that game. We are rehumanizing the conversation. And this work to transform our immigration system requires long-haul political organizing as well as immediate interpersonal aid to reduce suffering. And we are doing both. So going to La Cobina, we cut through some of that political nonsense to find connection that brings hope and joy and relief, just moments of relief which are so very precious on this journey. And when I hear stories from our travelers and folks from our Justice and Equity team talk about how Christina and Luz and Sophia are doing, it's like something breaks through. This light breaks through a crack. It's a reminder that we are not powerless and we cannot fix everything, but when we gather for a meal around a table, or on Sunday morning being human together, these things make that long haul work more possible. This is what collective liberation means, that we consistently reaffirm our interdependence. And I want to add one last thing before we practice our capacitar and close out our service. It's not an accident that our work with La Cobina intersects with our work for LGBTQ equality. One thing I have learned from my friends and colleagues in the fight for LGBTQ equality, a lesson that will probably be a whole sermon in the future, is that taking care of one another while in this fight is the only way to survive. It may seem like caring for one family or visiting one shelter once a year is a drop in a bucket, but that is what keeps us alive. These connections, both literally and spiritually, are what save us. We travel a long road, each and every one of us, on this way toward beloved community. And if we don't travel together, we will be lost. And so we organize, and we vote, and we march, and we care for one another to survive the present until we get to the future we dream about. And we teach our children that no one makes this journey alone. So thank you, all of you who are doing this work. And now let us do some healing work. First,
well, thank you, Julia. We need to hear those words over and over and over again. Thank you. So my name is Reverend Jeanette Love, and I've been privileged to do the capacitar training for a year, along with Hillary Petey. And the two of us came along with these wonderful youth, and with Charla, and with also with her, and it was a wonderful experience. So while they were doing their work in building relationships with these children and the adults, Hillary and I were taking small groups of people. And I'll tell you, when you listen to their stories, you know they are running for their lives. They are running away from the cartel. They are not just trying to get a better life. They are running for their lives. So what we did is we had the privilege of sharing some capacitar training, which is actually helping them take the trauma and the pain that they've experienced and move it out of the body and move it through. Because as long as we keep it in, we lock it in, it causes pain, and it makes us restless and makes us not able to move. So by doing this, we gave them the opportunity to put in their little backpacks different practices. And I wish we could share more, but we don't have that lot of time. But these practices actually help them move these trauma experiences up and out and forward. And we build relationships with them. So first of all, what I would like to ask you to do is we're going to learn a deep breathing technique, which is very simple, but can work for all of us because our situation in our own country and throughout the world is awful. And we need to be able to breathe it in and out so we can continue the work that Julia is inviting us to do. So let's take a deep breath in, and as we do, put your hands on your abdomen and allow the abdomen to blow up like a balloon. Breathe in. Hold it for 3 seconds and let go. And feed the trees with your carbon dioxide. Amen. Breathe in. Hold. Let go and feed the trees. And one last time, breathe in deep. Hold. Let go. Feed the trees. And now we're going to do a short head hold exercise. And I'll ask you to take your places. So the head holds are another opportunity for us to release the stress and trauma that we even hold. So first of all, let's just shake our hands. And let's take and rub them together so that the energy that we have within our own bodies can be transmitted either to ourselves or to those that they're working with. Now you can do these head holds actually on yourself. And Charla has graciously asked off the body and allow the energy to move into you. Breathe in deep. Let go. One more time. Let go. And now we'll do what we call the head hold, where we hold our forehead with one hand and with the other hand, the back of our head. This is balancing our emotions and our thoughts so that they're not bouncing around. So let's take a deep breath in and let go. Another slow, deep breath in and let go. And we'll do a third hold. Just shake your hands out, let go of energy. And now we're going to do hold our own shoulders, where we often carry a lot of weight. So take a deep breath in. Feel the energy of your hands moving through your body and exhale. Again, take a deep breath in and exhale. Amen, and let your energy go. Capacitar has been doing this work and so many other practices throughout the world for 30 years, literally everywhere in the world. So maybe some of you are interested, go to ccapacitar.org and you will see what is being done throughout the world. Thank you.
So we are going to sing together once more, and we're going to sing, we're coming back around to Abre la Puerta, and we're all going to sing it together and maybe even try doing it in some parts this time, maybe, we'll see. So if you want to rise in body and spirit and use that breath that you just got in touch with to feed the trees, and let's feed the trees with some song.
Yeah, sure. Hello again. So we're gonna do the first two parts that we learned a while ago. And then after we run through that one time, then we'll learn the third part, which kind of has been talking, it relates to all the kind of stuff that we've been talking about. So we'll just start with the first couple parts and then we'll move on. Yeah. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta. 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 Que entre la vida, que entre la vida. Que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón. One more time. Que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón. Sweet. Thank you. And then the third part is two lines. Somos los ojos, we are the eyes. Los ojos de Dios, the eyes of God. We are the eyes of God. Somos los ojos de Dios. Somos los ojos de Dios. Back to abre la puerta. Abre la puerta, 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 abre la puerta. Que entre la vida, que entre la vida. Que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón. Que entre la vida, que entre el sol, que entre la tierra, en el corazón. Somos los ojos. Somos los ojos de Dios. Somos los ojos de Dios. Abre la puerta, abre la puerta, abre la puerta. 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 Thank you.
So stay right where you are. And if you want to hold your hands open or put them over your heart, or if you're here and you want to hold hands with someone next to you, go ahead and ask permission first. However it is you get connected to each other across our virtual and physical sanctuaries. And as you go out into this beautiful and heartbreaking world, may the light of love shine upon you, out from within you, be gracious unto you, and bring you peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And let us call out a blessing.
Call